The Lord be with you. I'm Deacon Keith Fournier, and our first reading is from the book of Genesis. Abram's wife Sarai had borne him no child, but she had an Egyptian slave girl called Hagar. So Sarai said to Abram, "Listen now, since Yahweh has kept me from having children, go to my slave girl. Perhaps I shall get children through her." And Abram took Sarai's advice. Thus, after Abram had lived in the land of Canaan for 10 years, Sarai took Hagar, her Egyptian slave girl, and gave her to Abram as his wife. He went to Hagar, and she conceived. And once she knew she had conceived, her mistress counted for nothing in her eyes. Then Sarai said to Abram, "This outrage done to me is your fault. It was I who put my slave girl into your arms, but now she knows that she has conceived. I count for nothing in her eyes. Yahweh judge between me and you." "Very well," Abram said to Sarai. "Your slave girl is at your disposal. Treat her as you think fit." Sarai accordingly treated her so badly that she ran away from her. The angel of Yahweh found her by a spring in the desert, the spring on the side of the road to Shur. He said, "Hagar, slave girl of Sarai, where have you come from? And where are you going?" "I'm running away from my mistress Sarai," she replied. The angel of Yahweh said to her, "Go back to your mistress and submit to her." The angel of Yahweh further said to her, "I shall make your descendants too numerous to be counted." Then the angel of Yahweh said to her, "Now you have conceived and will bear a son, and you shall name him Ishmael. For Yahweh has heard your cries of distress. A wild donkey of a man he will be, his hand against every man, and every man's hand against him, living his life in defiance of all his kinsmen." Hagar bore Abram a son, and Abram gave his son born by Hagar the name Ishmael. Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bore him Ishmael. In our response, from Psalm 106. Alleluia! Give thanks to Yahweh, for he is good. His faithful love is everlasting. Who can recount all Yahweh's triumphs? Who can fully voice his praise? How blessed are those who keep to what is just, whose conduct is always upright. Remember me, Yahweh, in your love for your people. Come near to me with your saving power. Let me share the happiness of your chosen ones. Let me share the joy of your people, the pride of your heritage. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Matthew. Jesus said, "It is not anyone who says to me, 'Lord, Lord,' who will enter the kingdom of heaven, but the person who does the will of my Father in heaven. When the day comes, many will say to me, 'Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name, drive out demons in your name, work many miracles in your name?' Then I shall tell them to their faces, 'I have never known you. Away from me, all evildoers.' Therefore, everyone who listens to these words of mine and acts on them will be like a sensible man who built his house on rock. Rain came down, floods rose, gales blew and hurled themselves against that house, and it did not fall. It was founded on rock. But everyone who listens to these words of mine and does not act on them will be like a stupid man who built his house on sand. Rain came down, floods rose, gales blew and struck that house, and it fell. And what a fall it had." Jesus had now finished what he wanted to say, and his teaching made a deep impression on the people because he taught them with authority, unlike their own scribes. The Gospel of the Lord.